Have you been looking at ways where you can create a drop-down list in Excel? So this is going to be a basic one on how to create a drop-down list in Excel. So just before we go ahead, let's make some, let's create some basic form and all of that. So we can have this to be name, and we can have this to be like gender, and yeah. So let's say we have James Ron, or yeah, James Ron. And we have Bolu, Watife, um, maybe Swiski, and maybe we have let's say what would name? Let's say Mary Johnson. I think that would be cool. Mary Johnson. Okay, so just having these names. So to expand these, I can double tap here. And yeah, so now you see we have gender here, right? And this is a list. Instead of having to type it in one after the other, we can actually just create a drop-down list there. So how do we create a drop-down list? We move to data, and from data we go to data validation, which is here. When you stay on it a little bit, you see data validation. Then when you click on data validation, so the allow value here, you change it to list. Now you just have to list. There are two ways to do this anyway. So the very first one is you can actually just list it. You can have, you can have male, and then you can have female, and if you have okay. So you don't. So since you have this, you can also double tap this so that you can draw this one over so that you can have the same, the same input field for both. So here you can select the value. You can either choose a male, a female, or a male, right? And even the same thing is applicable to this field also. You can either choose either a male or a female, right? So, but then, let's say you already have, let me undo this. Let me undo this. So let's say you don't, you already have a large list somewhere. Maybe I can actually come here and have, let me say I have male. I can have this as male. I can have female. So it's already listed there. So I can come here and then go back to data validation and select the same list. Can have a list here. But then when it's asking me to select the source, right? This is basically the source. You can just click on this too. Then the source is already there for you, which is you can click OK, and you have the male and female. So in case where you have a larger list, kind of one that is really larger than this. Okay, let's say I'm changing this one from gender, I'm changing it to subject, maybe a school subject, and then I have this. I can have this as math. Then I can have this as English, English. Then I can have the next one as physics, physics. Then I can have the next one as chemistry. So, just having all of these values. So imagine you have a lot of values like that are really, really much. You have a whole bunch of it, and it's easy for you to actually just see your values here that way. So what you can do is, when you check on this list, you still have math and English, and that's because you only select two ranges, like you only select two from that. So what we can do in this case is we can come back to the data validation, and the list we selected earlier, we just make it a long one this time. We make the list a long one. You see by selection, you see where it stops. So we're going to have to make it up to this value now. So when someone come here to select a value, you see you have all of the list here that you can select from, and you can also pull down this so that it becomes easy for all of this. So one thing we do in most cases to be able to really identify that, okay, this is an input field, is you can come back to the home, and then you fill the color with maybe kind of gray, maybe something like this, to actually show that this feed is this field is a drop down list that you can actually select to put a value. So it's a common thing that you see a number of people do that, so that you just see the feed, okay, when you click on it, it's going to give you options. Another thing is when you select or maybe when you, let's say you try to type in options that are not there. Let's say CSC, it's going to tell you this value doesn't match the data validation restrictions defined for this cell. So this is basically what you're going to see. And that's one advantage of drop-down list. So yeah, so this is you know, a basic way of how you create a drop-down list. I hope you enjoyed the little session. Thank you.